1992, fifth son, our present. Honky tonk gringo corridor, Gila Bend corridor bar, Gila Bend Aslan, strum. For Charlie Chastateas, tan tan taran, note, as they still sing of him in cantinas and country stores, and those ranchos where viejitos gather at cool dusk with Wani Walker Rojo passed around clockwise a smoking and a listen to old canciones and cuentos of other days. He breaks before he bends and cuts a dashing figure. Dijeron, these old bastards. A man's man, 'twas a man. They also make alburas about his stuffing his shaved scrotum into his mouth, puro huevón. Ha ha ha! Orale, another Latin next Daedalus. What this world needs, eh? Slightly Byronic and slouch, more Onegan in shape, belong to the most vile category of social fauna called human rubbish. Yeah, at times. Claims life hostile to him, and so harbors brown resentment. Map between us folks in this business, call it, and where Daedalus had God in Ireland, he's got Guadalupan Aztecs in Mexico. And both shape poetry. And when he was born, his tío says this pinche huevón would be a poet prophet. Look at the size of his eyes. And right then, still slippery with his birth juices, his tío Pancho lifted that chavalito and dedicated him to the sun and the flowery death of poetry. So, sure enough, here's sung about. Sings too. For Charlie Chastateas, tan tan taran, that brave, ballsy chingadex told those chingadexes working for La Migra, los vendidos a gringadexes in Mexico, love germinates with the boca. Begins with la lengua, the mouth the size of Puebla, with whips like Sinaloa, and how beautiful hips to Chihuahuas, zas, and proceeded to snap each of their necks one by one with swift judo chops, zas, 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 zas. Que hombre! Brass tip, snake skin, boots tap, and a pouncing taxiderm ocelot lunges away from wood paneled wall. Man's man, and for his tío Pancho a hero, and for Xochitl Flores, the Salvador himself. Accordion, accordion, accordion. Thank you. I wrote this poem initially as a kind of a model off the corrido tradition, which is a kind of model of a Mexican folklore music. Usually tells a kind of a tall tale, but almost always where the oppressed become the oppressor. But usually tall tales, a tradition of violence. And mixing in a little bit of voice, I'm from Arizona, so a little bit of cowboy voice in there. Spanglish, always. But larger was telling the story of a family, and that's in my book, the Codex Majaldicus. But usually it's drawing from traditions of the borderlands, both the Mexican cowboys and the US cowboys as well, and using that poetics to build something completely unique. I write very weird stuff, and I think as me as a writer, and as a Latino writer, that was something I felt pushed up against. In some ways, I thought I could not write about my Latino background, my Mexican-American background. Fortunately, I have been able to do that in ways I think that honor my family and my traditions, but most importantly, the language, because it's the language that most touches the family tradition that I'm writing about in this book, but also that this is the work that my family can read and it sounds like us. So I really appreciate being a part of this anthology because this is an anthology for us to say this is us. So thank you.